Our critique began as all critiques begin, with doubt. Doubt became our narrative. Ours was a quest for a new story, our own. And we grasped toward this new history driven by the suspicion that ordinary language couldn't tell it. Our past appeared frozen in the distance, and our every gesture and accent signified the negation of the old world and the reach for a new one. The way we lived created a new situation, one of exuberance and friendship, that of a subversive micro-society in the heart of a society which ignored it.
Floating through a fjord, where leads this fluid door to inner enlightenment. Flames flicker, the fire is likened to the human torch. Brother, the Susan storm, uncover what you ignore. You may suffer, but you'll endure. For transformation is pain, closely followed by relief. A seed explodes, but still grows and blossoms peace. The mind's eye is the window to your soul. Try to see the blood lotus is only obsolete because it opens consciously. It's a garden you must choose to tend, for only you can move within. Shape this world and make a boreal where you pretend. A brainstorm within a myriad of foolish men that conjure so much rainwater that you can swim. Bellowing plumes of wind that thunder electrocute and spin. Such weather is stellar, no umbrella can shelter you from this. It seldom is, the elephant in the room exists. Welcome it, it's detrimental to resist. Its presence drifts, feathers of solitude persist. Your nest left unspent, that's what evolution is. The question of what it is to exist. I've such incredible predilection for solutions to this. So I search, frantically but alert. Where each tomorrow lurks, sanity becomes more inert. Can it be a planted tree springing forth from dirt, filling abandoned seeks to expand and leave its mortal purchase, as if the land beneath on which it stands has no waterworks. Its branches and leaves don't grow and it can't ignore the thirst. These are the mechanics of a forest birth, just as they are my response to being stranded on the earth. As we roam through the catacombs of this hell, seeds are sown to grow a home for ourselves. For being alone is an ultimate cell in which we are as a result overwhelmed. Ghosts in the shell, fragments of ourselves, broken and frail. A complex puzzle we must reconstruct with no help. Piece by piece becoming, growing from what seems like nothing. It's a long walk for a reason. There's no need for running. The weight of ascension, heavy mentalist, awakening decision. Every single moment the book of life's pages are written. There's no plagiarism, for no distinct soul can imitate existence. No two objects can occupy the same space and instant. There can be only one. The polarity can't be overcome. How can man not grow wings if man can grow through thumbs? The beats fall from a cloud that flows above. The wind is stranded like planets in the solar system with the frozen sun. The sand winter scrolls of wisdom unfold on drums. We are by ourselves but not alone, like a borrowed sum, abandoned by our memories, our home world forgotten of. But time will tell, we'll understand when tomorrow comes. It's therapeutic, have patience like Dr. Kill. Stay awake, keep an eye open like a dollar bill. Be nocturnal and diurnal, do not sit still. Observe like aspire, quiet knowledge till your mind is filled. The third optic grill spins with Gurren Lagann skill. Simone's spiral will, heaven piercing, it cannot be still. Do as you prefer, but the words I design and build will penetrate and fester in your brain if rhymes are still. I wield a sword like Red Pyramid on Silent Hill, so no matter what, you'll get cut like you body build. Behold, the winds of change, air blows, nothing remains the same. Life wraps itself in cocoons and moves from maze to maze. The question is, will it exit adrift and fly away, forward morphic, or die inside before it finds its way?
There's no story, it's just people, gestures, moments, bits of rapture, fleeting emotions. In short, the greatest stories ever told.
A pedal on the Lotus, locate and read the moment. Rotate it like CD motion, concentrate a peaceful ocean. I slip away knowing when I wake my dreams will be obscured. And as the waves reach the shore, I am reassured. Although some of what I am shown has not been seen before. Just because something does not glow, it should not be ignored. Ignoration is for that which trespasses on your inner sanctum. Removal by refusing to acknowledge its indignation. I swallow information like a black hole, cosmic inhalation. Event horizon, gravitation, the accretion disk is a teeming macrocosm of imagination. Extended far beyond the stars, the sky inhabitated. Ascension is the only glimpse my eyes are advocating. I see only the future, my sight matches raceless. Hourglass inflation of the pupils, humans fascinated. Improvement, have some patience, evolution after waiting. Cloak and exit, meditation, heart resumes its palpitation. Mind and body share a bond like terra lunar gravitation. I eat from the tree of knowledge, bearing fruit of saturation. The fastest instant death like the spine detached from brainstem. When you strike a match, the light will flash away dim. But the wealth that light contains is compressed, won't bite its A gig. If something seems too bright. It just means eyes are sensitive, but after they flush gradually enough, they will aptly adjust. So persist like acidness until you can open your lids and capture a gust of solar wind. The glow of which is so intense that ash and dust is what would normally become of anything the flashes touch. Absorb it or run and avoid the sun just like a shadow does. I move forward on the path, pouring from my staff at once without hesitation. Devout dedication and avid hunt. In this pursuit of light, I gather sun shrouded in darkness. I abound all of the lack thereof. Without a student, what do you assume a master does? He improves like evolution isn't moving fast enough. I imagine such and just succumb to what comes after us. I will not rest till I impress the future and the past at once. To ascend is a valley that humans have to jump. There is no second chance, you must enhance your calves and lunge. Lotus flowers open, petals grow and sprout to no end. Imagine like Hugh Jackman dive into the fountain, go swim with infinite thirst. Immerse them in reverse with a powerful spin. At the center of inert, all that surrounds you goes in. Subtle beauty, like when the moon reflects the rays the sun is shooting. May it neglect the day so that the night may stay. Like when the governor stops in executing. To increase the resolution, I practice using my eyes with incense to the face. Like Sante when his head is moving, I stare with anger. There are 18 pairs of chambers, I do not fear. I am but aware of danger. The mind is clear when it is paired with nature. Knowledge is made permanent with rhythm and nomenclature. It is a system like stones and paper, telepathy, phones and pagers. My Muppet baby imagination has always left me alone with strangers. New ideas and concepts of cognitive shape. A light year is a distance, not an amount of time. That's a common mistake. An object behaves relative to its time and its space. Therefore, if it changed it too, it will follow their fate. That's food for thought for you all. Fucking swallow the plate. But have a seat, cause with its gravity, you'll probably faint. Open your mind to its most conscious of states. Like William Hurt when he got in the tank and his body reshaped. Behold beauty in only moments. Like Bob Ross when he paints. It's like breathing underwater with no oxygen tank. Swim in the vast ocean of space, the still motion escape. Close your eyes and open your gates. Let your chakra spiral all over the place. Then reacquire it and hold it in place. Or else let your soul be erased. Time change and space distorts. People change shape and morph. They walk the paths and roads forth. They must do the math and go forth. Like pestilence, war, famine and death on a lone horse. And double back if they arrive somewhere they don't want. Just relax, take the other path and so forth. Life isn't as easy as getting heat with a blowtorch. It's difficult like getting 5 mice in the old source. When you encounter problems, isolate them like a cold war. And their lifespans will grow short. The pressure and pain, the grief that we are living with. Every day, this heavy burden that we must lift is nothing more than separating instances. It's all about the weight being evenly distributed. So do the math and calculate, divide and conquer your problems. Solutions will amalgamate more often than not. Silly humans doubt the strength of their own minds. Terrified to make up their own minds. No semblance of self, the third eye's closed blind. When you refuse to be yourself, you're just a shell, the soul dies. Walking dead, a body with a hollow head. Remote control, doing what who you follow says. A dangerous state of mind like drinking till the bottle ebbs. Or like when drugs are associated with frying eggs. A bunch of phony bitches, scared to death to be alone and different. You're all the same with different names like most religions. You've lost your minds and you don't know they're missing. Why is it considered insane to make your own decisions? To live as a slave is no way of living. Why don't you just get in the grave and go away, good riddance? The hatred I have for the human race is so specific. It isn't just random, my hatred has its own logistics. I keep saying imagine, but no one listens. They go through life happy, trapped outside their soul's dimension. Not even reluctant, they do this of their own volition. Like children with just a little cut, what a load of fiction. With no demon, there's no dust, hence no resistance. The golden compass represents showing interest. You have to put forth effort, measure growth in inches. When those are given, take a mile, fucker, go the distance. You have to tear muscles to give them extra strength. They will regenerate stronger than they were yesterday. Don't look back, look ahead farther every day. For tomorrow is the hardest test that you will ever take.
God, I miss Bob Ross. That television painter with a little squirrel on his shoulder and the happy little trees. Few strokes with a palette knife and an entire mountain range would emerge through the clouds. Absolutely mesmerizing.
in my head, staring at the skies overhead. I take distinct breaths temporarily and find my eyes red, and a cry shed for lost souls who walk roads and stop dead. I prefer a path that y'all chose rather than one that's child fed. At least know the truth before you choose not to believe. You gotta be conscious and wait before you can be conscious in dreams. Be at ease and wander with me. Potential, no movement, and ponder what seems so simple to humans. Life, you do what you like and worry later instead of storming data. Cats make stupid a form of nature. It's in the genetics, the DNA, but what's the meaning of this? You shouldn't see the day as much as you see what's proceeding it. You don't eat a tree, you eat what be on it. Don't read a book over being it. Don't you notice you smoking weed with no seeds in it? Everything must go forward, otherwise you grow dormant and tranquil. Before you pull away, just look at things from a foreign angle. Adjust your mind to your eyesight. Fuck the rhyme, this got nothing to do with 5 mics. I'm spitting just to guide you to divine light. I don't mean to disrespect, but you've not achieved or met a high degree of intellect. There's a difference between leaves that's dry and leaves that's dripping wet. The prime rivers, the depth, the secondaries necessary to live correct and righteous. But cats be on some bug shit like insects with diapers. You need to connect your ciphers and become complete. 360, reach, dig deep, and find what's underneath. Don't regress. If you undergo the stress, you'll overcome the grief. I don't know about you, but I don't wanna think opinions are false. They ain't convinced it all. Knowing is unbelief. Food for thought ain't sold apart. It's something you gotta hunt to eat. In the feral state, you gotta gain apparent weight until your hunger sleeps. I have a large appetite. I'm driven before I'm finished. My tongue will bleed. All the facts of life written isn't enough to read. I plan to study for hours, for minutes, to days, to months, for weeks, for years, till computers go from 2 to number 3. And that's real as fuck. Like me and the fuckers who grew up with me is still in touch. When your man's choose your hand, it hits hard like 18-wheeler trucks. So why jeopardize? You don't have to sabotage when you don't deal with trust. When you're chillin', just make sure there's nothing to fulfill the lust. It shouldn't have to be like that, but cats like to get smacked, still killing fuck. And humans, you build for what? If when you build, you still destruct. When I see and he are the species we are, I feel disgust. That's one of the reasons I keep a mic with still is tucked. I'm trying to make you see the light like a filler Dutch. When you start smoking, when I look at you, it feels like a bullet wound with a large opening. It's like I'm at a 3-way fork and all rows in. I can't take it, I've thought scoped it. I went through a shape shift, my brain's fixed, but now my heart's broken. Cause I see the way kids age with the wrong motives. Men and women, why civil living a lost notion. Shut the fuck up for a minute and listen when I'm dart throwing. And I ain't biting the wool, that's something I'm too nice to do. And y'all know it, I'm a scar poet. I can't be a part of this culture as y'all know it. I don't spit water thoughts, I like to get my point across focus. So shut up and listen, what I'm saying is important. You cats should be reacting like a chain metamorphing. It don't matter night or day, if you playing or you forfeit. You can be up 100 points, if life's a game then you lost it. Shut up and listen, what I'm saying is important. You cats should be reacting like a chain metamorphing. It don't matter night or day, if you playing or you forfeit. You can be up 100 points, if life's a game then you lost it. I find peace in dark, the sight of imagined thoughts. The mind's eye sees with light from the brain synapses sparks. They lay the path to walk, so make what you fathom talk to the desired patterns rock. Go inside like a NASA launch and explore your inner space like a Dennis Quaid astronaut. Change, adapt, evolve, for adapt is natural loss. You are susceptible to death like trees without sap and bark. You collect breath when leaves abound and grass is tall. Like a bean has to stalk, strong and green as the hawk. Meditate, silence is not just a lack of talk. You must separate yourself from your body as the walks. Investigate what the threat of hell is hiding, crack the vault. If we left it up to the church and the fraud of the wrath of God, they root the earth and dishonesty to manufacture pawns. If you remove curiosity and say to imagine's wrong, it's like the future of the Buffy verse, all the magic's gone. Spiraling insignificance of what it is to live. Little kids become more and more undone, but they're getting big. Dumbed down, they're not ingenuous, they judge without experience. Their curiosity bound, they're not allowed to think, experiment. Taught to be ignorant and not to be defined by difference. Blinded instruments no longer enlightened by the innocence. It hurts inside its venom. venomous, these cries are genuine. Why discourage light that offers sight inside the infinite? Forsaking all the substantial to satisfy the emptiness. Therefore, three-eyed to initiates walk beside its endlessness. Evolve conscious forever. Evolution's a long process, convoluted, like trying to prove that you saw Loch Ness. A difficult labyrinthine road. You walk with small steps, but hip-hop is for fools. Dropping jewels is a lost concept. Trying to talk to you is like walking through a hard object. That's why I don't rhyme for you. Here's some food for thought to digest. My music is my heart, and you don't belong in my chest. So don't trespass, you'll only get lost or find death, but you should listen. It's foolish to resist it. Welcome it with open arms like a crucifixion. Develop, transform like lichens when the moon is risen. We're a hellish sandstorm, I win these cumulonimbus. When I human, we're different, conscious of new dimensions. Have much in common with lunar systems that dark but congruent with them. Hungry, I hunt for knowledge with cognitive intuition. Camouflage, I hide in with blossoms and blooms that blend in hot pursuit of wisdom. Hotter than fuel ignition, and fire consumed the liquid prior to its transition. I search for sustenance, not only on Earth's circumference, but also towards the night where light bursts forth from it. This is nothing, there is much more than this. Space is vast and disproportionate. Being trapped here is torturous. That's why I designed an orphanage with no signs or coordinates. You must be inside before you realize its physical form exists. If you belong here, you are here. There is no Morpheus, you are not brought here. If you can't find it, then that's unfortunate. You're like a vampire that's not invited. We don't want you here. You can't come in if you a dummy like classic Portishead. So stay the fuck away like two magnets, both at the northern end. Pretend it's my space with no Mac. We don't want no friends.
They are the hunters of men's souls.
And then blow.
These darkness, not these immortals.
Villagers! I found them.
Have the gods no mercy?
Come on, let's all sing A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Oh, sing. Do, mi, so, do. I love to sing. Re, fa, sol, la.
About before child development existed, existential fellowship. This gift was heaven sent in that instant. Imagination jettison, a kaleidoscopic landscape to meander and navigate. On with orientation, the pace quadruplicates at a rate to which rapid eye movement relates. I ruminate, superposing the subhuman state. I shadow walk in shoes that stomp soon into shape, tempering tomorrow today. That is how time is traversed. A theoretical thread ties us to the universe. View the verse, I vocalized and wrote the words weavish, xylophonic in the yang, zero to zenith, but I can't just exit and leave with the primary objective completed. There's too much time left on this beat, and besides, when if you ever know my rhymes to be quick, I speak volumes, food for thought, deep dish, talk rust is how the dominoes fall, just eat this. Light sails, the ocean and space gets all seasick, the equilibrium must be maintained, darkness is needed, I provide such like melanin, the spine is crucial to the mind, not just the skeleton. You die once the separate perspective defines stuff and decides what is relative to sand winter. We rise up, then descend, a massive cloud and a gust of heavy wind. Light's path is round, thus it never ends. It's a circle we spin, go on the journey again. Where we finish is also where we begin. Yin and yang is the way of things. When night arrives, day decays. Despite what time you watch the sky, either side fades away. Turn the hourglass on the side, freeze time and place, pause a minute. Unconsidered the laws of physics. Window eyes cannot be simplified like logarithmics. The soul is a complex, energetic signature. It's not a tangible object, it's a measurement like temperature. Or rather, that is what I suppose. How am I to know? Wearing a human body, what it is a human body holds. Perhaps where we are is too large for our puny minds to hold. Perhaps our past will always hide a home. Historic, our true origins lost in a spiral hole, where no one knows if what is swallowed can be reacquired though. Our being path is just that. Trees and grass crushed flat. There's a first time for everything that's math. Trust that things don't change without cause and effect. There's a process, steps from where they start and they get. What you think there's never been a bird that thought it was deaf. How could it fly if it doesn't try to launch from its nest? Push limits, like what limits? They're just limits. Disregard scientific laws like fuck physics. All that exists evolves, adjust with it. The fit survive, those not so much simply die. The sand winter, we rise up, then we dive. Turn the volume up, get lost in the winter sky. The mind is an ocean of space to swim inside. There's so much more, but time's up, this is goodbye.
At the beginning we were surprised, yes, because it is a little different than what normal people would do, but who's to say what's normal?
Why do I hate and hate to say?
I am an altruist, despite the fact that hatred has me bound within. Like an aura, it surrounds my skin, alluring. Like aurora borealis is, it is attractive because it is the rational recoil. You is how it is. The way people behave, it's as if they're begging to be in the grave. They need to be slain, removed, so there would be room for something better to be in the place. The truth is the lesser of two evils is hate, not blind hatred. Justifiable hatred of the open-eye variety, deriving from concentration, well-thought-out observations, positive information. The logistical automation is personification. I am hatred inside, all I see, hear, and feel absorbed. Picture the completion of use cave, receiving Genkai spirit orb, wielding shield and sword in defense of all that's real and pure. You will find me, Omni, declaring war, and swiftly beheading any who dare ignore. With or without you, the future will carry on, for it is a lane to what was there before. A feral force initiating an evolutionary storm, precipitating change like terrain when it's terraform. You have to be able to adapt, evolve, and change audible plays. You can't always see what serves second off of his name. That's what makes Peyton Man his office insane. He surveys his opponents and rearranges the way he approaches. But humans do what they wish and try to get away like they're roaches, oblivious until you flip a switch and it's too late. Cause they notice they think they're safe in the population explosion. They take the odds that they won't die of rate overdoses. They suffer from wide awake comatosis. Robots, zombies, slaves, they walk as if they can't find their graves. Asleep is how their minds behave. It's a crying shame, but as soon as the future arrives, it fades. It dies a day at a time, decays. It doesn't say goodbye or wave, it just dematerializes without leaving behind a trace. Nothing remains but memories, which are quite subjective, for they are formed by perspective when blueprints are finally erected. Whether the structure matches entirely rests with how the former follow directions. He may have cut corners with his supplies and his methods. Things don't always end the way people intend. When the series of events begins, when there are obstacles, projectiles tend to veer from where they are being sent. A force will not be ignored when it collides with what it is arriving toward. That which is unexpected will always realign the course. Adjustments can be made, but so can mistakes. I just wish to grow with the approach that cancer takes. Malignant in regard to persistence, I will not offer submission. My thoughts visit stars in the distance, and my mind trades scars for admission. I may not even belong in this dimension. Perhaps I'm like Peter, taken by Walter Bishop, but I don't have Olivia to notice me shimmering. Just an orphan all alone with oblivion, surrounded by hordes of no significance, forced in the cognitive dissonance, a facade like equilibrium, withdrawn in the self-imposed ignorance. Parallel to so many differences, there I dwell in only appearances, but I am inside, deep in my mind. Not blind, but I don't see with my eyes. The sun doesn't shine, neural explosions light up the sky. Night and day are not required, neither is time, not by design. Rules aren't the same in the brain, they can be changed, and humans attack people, that ain't the same. So be prepared if you're distinct in the way you behave. It's a path of resistance. Friction happens when actions are different, but those with persistence move past the collision and exit just as they have entered. So fuck anyone who asks for surrender. My objective is to raise mutants like Yoshi's Rap Master Splinter.
God is love. I don't love you.
camera with night vision. I am a shadow, I am what light isn't. The beat talks on its own, demanding that I listen. Puts my mind at ease like the mechanics of odds and rhythm. And speak soft like throwing the ball underhanded like politicians. What cloud provides is canon of nihilism. My head nods, I'm drawn inside, questioning outside's existence. Experience peace that seldom defines an instant. I know it for just a moment, but knowledge dies to be survived by wisdom. Despite its quickness, I learn to appreciate what little time I'm given. That's why I keep music close to my heart like a violinist. Honor like self, not religion. Fuck fear of afterlife consequences. It is said that Satan was cast from heaven for wanting to make God his minion. He was removed, so why would he use hell to punish you and do as God intended? He most likely treats you well, so you'd help provide his vengeance. This is not my opinion, it's just the way people think the Bible's written. It's common sense, it's not scientific. To read is to be lost in a labyrinth of contradictions. How imaginatively the plot thickens. Such an elaborate paradigm of fiction, when lies have roots of truth that grow at least enough to bear some fruit that may look right, plus the bite can be deceiving too. The web of lies spreads out wide while the truth will only reach a few. That's why it's better to be alone than to be in groups. You are shielded from false realities that are built on tag-along mentalities that aren't allowed to think a catacall after all lacks strong individuality. If it's not where you belong, keep sliding like Quinn Mallory. A prison isn't just bars, it could be a body or a galaxy. How do I get off of VR? How do I get out of me? What good is being awake, out the dream, if nearly everyone else on the planet is sound asleep? And some of the people who've escaped the counting sheep, they wanna go back to their dark city creation. The false reticulation, willful products of thought manipulation. Mentally blind, they walk lost in ignoration. I offer an invitation to suicide. You should die if what you do isn't what you decide. Why are you alive? Look in the mirror, see yourself through your eyes. Be yourself, not your disguise. Idealize, do not be compromised by prying eyes. Your shoes are not the size. They couldn't walk into my block with no socks untied. So whatever their thoughts, they do not apply. Life ain't the same as what you're seeing with your eyes. I'll show you over time, slowly help you climb, but you must first travel off land, off sea and off the sky. Draw boundaries for yourself, then disregard the lines. Leave a dimension your body occupies, the freezing thaw time. Stop suppressing the power your thoughts provide. Only then can you reach the other side and begin closing in on freedom of the mind. Go deep and continue to sink, falling upon yourself, distort space and make its equilibrium weak. I meditate when I spit on a beat. Right now, that's my only way of visiting peace. So I embrace its energy and take it to extremities, cause I appreciate what it's given me.
I like to pretend I'm alone, completely alone. Maybe post-apocalypse or plague. Whatever, no one left to act normal for. No need to hide who I really am. It would be freeing.
This world, a monster of energy, without beginning, without end, likewise without increase or income. Disclosing nothing. This world is a will to power, and nothing besides.
Life melts and it thaws, vanishes, it cannot dwell, it dissolves. Planets bid farewell to the stars, they do not cease to exist, it's just not themselves where they've gone. It's not the end, things extend from the shell and beyond. Perhaps the prior layer is not where they belong. I question life, but death barely responds. Whatever I am, insanity is very involved. For what I bear in my skull is made of nothing ordinary at all. I swim in the out air and evolve, I amass a tide of imagination as waters are vast. Several gravitations causing to splash, generating waves exalted and crash, leaving being human lost in their path. The illusion discarded and trashed. How can you change the future in an alternate past? When you seek knowledge, you face questions, they often amass. But with safest devotion to the stick with which I walk, I will ask and travel beyond my ultimate grasp. Unraveling a remarkable path, gathering all that it passed. The intake will siphon like an event horizon until the end arrives, like fighting against an bison. What the wind provides is polarity for what dims the sky glints, barely penetrate a thin horizon. We darken things, Blacken the very thought of things, remove distractions. What would you imagine when only thoughts remain? Stranded on this planet, I'm what normal people call insane. I don't belong attached to humans as a ball and chain. Society is based on false relationships with hollow frames. A life that's fake, whose laws are made to make us all the same. Those who differ are all but hang. The only reason they don't go all the way is to preserve the illusion of freedom. They use to law the brain. Do not allow this. Society is a prison disguised as a palace. Words of wisdom standing parish provided on alphas. Children should not be blinded, guided by counselors. They should instead be guided by their entire surroundings. Experience life and make their own minds up about it. Protect them, but do not direct them. If they make a mistake, wait. Don't just automatically correct them. Give them a chance to see their errors themselves and fathom questions. It isn't you that matters when the matters affect them. Don't lose focus just to gain perspective. When you're approaching pain, don't change directions. It'll wear off in due time. Have patience, let it. That way all you've learned on your way is embedded. Scarred for life, wounds that won't heal. So what happens on the battlefield is always revealed. We can't make you feel what we feel. It won't be real. In order to build, you have to live according to your own free will. Don't lose focus just to gain perspective. When you're approaching pain, don't change directions. It'll wear off in due time. Have patience, let it. That way all you've learned on your way is embedded. Scarred for life, wounds that won't heal. So what happens on the battlefield is always revealed. We can't make you feel what we feel. It won't be real. In order to build, you have to live according to your own free will.
Dude is all balanced off on. Who carries the balance of what the in-betweens are, Dick? What am I? Am I their death if they seek it too closely? Am I their judgment if they find harshness within themselves? In other words, like we're all if we're in harmony with that. There's no need to be out of harmony with that. The only fear and violence and bloodshed is created by this dude's confusion. Violence is very much a part of harmony. When you can't touch intelligence, what else can I do? I'll just hang myself.
When I tire of things, I close my eyes and don't stay. I fall up and spiral away, farther and wider, all prior decays. I shimmer, my body waves like how fire behaves. Cascading light, darkening, extinguishing flames. They dim of their own accord, they don't die, they just fade. When I'm hurt, I'm lost, I try to find my way. Birth, revelation lies in the science of pain. All of a sudden, sublimation, I change. Freedom reigns, it is not a transformation, it cannot be engaged. I know only that it is, not why it became. The true nature of an animal is not to be tamed. That's what makes it beautiful, the lack of a cage. For peace must be mutual, to be attained. If you love something, don't be afraid, let it stray. Share time with the creature and go separate ways. If the relationship is genuine, it will remain. That is life, simple and plain. But then again, humans give complexity to the simplest things. It makes it difficult like quitting the game. Shut up, you stupid fucks. Listen to what I say. You could be up 100 points, you're still not winning the game. You lost it like a chimp in a cage when he sees other chimps in a rage, swinging side to side like a pendulum behaves. Who is it that thinks he lives but does not what he wish? That's like a shark not eating fish, but that's not to say that a shark couldn't stop if he sees fit. All I'm trying to say is go inside your heart and follow each tick. Embrace what you desire and be strict. Never let it go, that's the best approach to find peace with. Anything else in your whole life will be shit. What's inside a shell is hollow, you wind up resenting it. Time will tell, for tomorrow won't disguise the emptiness. The black hole that dwells inside you will swallow you in the end. Until then, you'll flail in a maelstrom of insignificance, with the knowledge of all you cared for and that you surrendered it. You'll try to keep it buried, you won't dare reminisce. You'll do anything not to remember, but you'll fail to forget. It'll eat you alive from inside like a cancerous cyst. Break through your flesh like adamantium snicks. There's no escape, it's in the volcano's mechanics of spit. Its fiery innards will eventually abandon the pit. This will be a random event, and what you don't expect can't be the fence. You can't pick and choose, you get the fruit the branches present. But give the tree sustenance, treat it like you're in love with it. And what you reap will be enough to feed hundreds with. I refuse to be hunger stricken, place it there. I take my share and eat like the Langoliers.
As we seated and were darkened, the voice continued. The program for this evening is not new. You have seen this in
wanting people to listen, you can't just tap them on the shoulder anymore. You have to hit them with a sledgehammer. And then you'll notice you've got their strict attention. Well, not anymore. I'm setting the example. And what I've done is going to be puzzled over and studied and followed forever.
My scars remove, blood drips and falls from my wounds. Traveling up instead of down, becoming cosmic fumes. Resembling smoke, I begin to float, I start to move. The wind blows, I exalt my moon, for I am drawn to you. New target you off the truth. The sky's garden of darkness roots. The absence of light where life shadows often bloom. Leaving the same flowers of shade that are produced. Pollen is discharged and fine grains to charge our fuels, creating more petals that accumulate, becoming clouds formed of several. They will shower and beauty will abound when the storm settles. Amazing power, mountains can be torn to pebbles. Once you're embraced by these flowers, the thorns will protect you and keep you safe from drowning in the swirling cesspool. The maelstrom staircase that devours all who step through. Ignorance provides, is given with the swirling sense. The giver's vision is diminished, it disorients. Blind one becomes detached from what one lacks interest in. Curiosity dies and becomes a mass of emptiness. Never lose control, impulses a brash instrument. An emotion-driven brain is what one makes a rash decision with. My master is within, what I imagine is intense. I collapse and follow the path this presents. Shadows in which a bottomless cavity exists. A black hole that swallows what gravity permits. A star explodes, so all that surrounds it is lit. A detached soul without sorrow, happily adrift. I float on an endless cloud, a nebula of stars glowing as dust spins around. In search of the unknown, I roam where nothingness is found. On this sojourn alone, I bear what should not be allowed. The thirst alone tears, the hunger disembowels. Such profound starvation, my thoughts quake, my stomach growls. Engulfitation for false information, I hunt it down with the peace of death. On each breath, my lungs compile the respiratory stress. I endure chases more or less, like John Connor with a Terminator stomping on his chest. But I'm determined, just like Sasuke off on his quest. He joined Orochimaru for the strength to murder his own flesh. Like Naruto when he makes a promise that he won't forget. Relying on Kyuubi and the mercy that his cloak begets. Like Rock Lee, earning strength from only blood and sweat. Even with critical injuries, he trains me so obsessed. Like Neji, once he realized his future wasn't stone impressed. My conviction is like all of these descriptions coalesce. I will not surrender, submission on my part will not be rendered. I will voice my heart despite no listeners. And if my defiant screams are torn apart, I will whisper, I am so at peace with cold and dark, it's like I'm winter. I write in accordance with my thoughts, my rhymes are splinters. A conscious presence, suffused so you cannot forget them. And you cannot remove them, they're rooted upon aggression. Spread throughout your mind like power lines in all directions, where they stay for all the time. You cannot hide from omnipresence, for if you seek the truth, I speak to you at my discretion. Amassing piece by piece, bestowing you with my perspective. What is assembled is a self-contained world of my invention. These are jewels they don't teach in school, they don't provide these lessons. They provide illusions, blind, stupefying, deafening. Music's a cosmic method to correspond to message. It endures beyond the death of the artist, it's convalescent. It persists like humans with the use of cryogenics. For as you listen, I exist, it keeps you and I connected. If you stop, it's as if you euthanize the nexus. So do I live or do I die? You decide in essence, but your choice is irrelevant. Despite what you choose, my world itself exists because imagination's the base element, rooted in selfishness and hatred's development. Extinction, the human race will be replaced by intelligence. Take off the shell of skin, the skull and the skeleton. These are changed, what remains has been lost in false malevolence. Change and reshape at the cost of our own heritage. Forsaken and erased by what is wrongly called benevolent. They could have been directing for the neck and slashed away, but a sharp masquerade is far more apt to blade. My walking staff in place, death the step I have to take. For those who never sleep are only half awake.
Our battle, our struggle is to create art. Our paintings will grow and recede. Our poetry will be shadows that lengthen and conceal. Our light will play across living faces that laugh and agonize. And our music will linger and finally overwhelm because it will have a context as certain as the grave.
An entire world made of pretend. The smallest thing could begin a chain of events with a big bang at the end. After now there is no escaping from then. There were only 35. Sante made 36. Determination permits one to create what they wish. When you are focused, you see what scatterbrains tend to miss. So pay attention, gather dimensions. Meta matter ascension like the dichotomy of astral projection. Only before the Kaze after progresses. Prajna is an accurate weapon. Swordplay, slasher intestines. Do you have the guts to ask yourself questions? Once you do, the quest for answers becomes truly magnetic. Like love when the pursuit reacts acquiescent. Without heart, the student's evolution lacks direction. When cash rules still don't up and move, that's the message. Just think for half a second. Art are the last 3 letters in heart. If we're not distinct, how will people tell us apart? Because of its distinction, such a thing will be impressed on your thoughts. Life is deep, I will speak until there's nothing left to impart. And we exist in an accretion just with hyperstellar results. My mind is the entrance of an event horizon. Everything I experience is sent inside it. Swallowed and synthesized, it culminates within the iris, shaping who I am. Assembling emotion, carried through time like the Darian, swim through the ocean. How elegant growth is, the most profound elements of our development are microscopic. The intangible nature of creatures interacting, how they feel and they acting. Deoxyribonucleic acid, how these things behave, result in pyramidic reactions. A series of shit that happens, butterflies and dominoes. It's not a theory, it's fact. Remove the right object from the bottom and the ceiling collapses. So too are we, establishing shadows that lengthen when photons are absent on the path they are taking. Captured by those who would have scintillation. Light gathered to glow when they pass information. That way they know where the class is to take it. A beacon that beckons the intrigue. If they seek it, the message received. If not, then let them sleep. Who are you to interfere with their thought process? You are not an alarm clock. An alarm clock set, it can't just go off if it's not even plugged in the wall. You have no control over what's under another skull. Listen to the walking sticks change their brother bars. We are just small pieces of shade among the stars. Without this, how we're received, that makes us what we are. How we are seen by strangers from afar. That is what determines the way that we come across. Intentions are overshadowed by results. What we intended, what happens, are trapped in the timeless waltz. In the absence of light, my path unraveling while I walk is formed as I travel. So how could I wander off? The appearance of veins, branches, rivers, roots. You must look many ways. The advantage of getting truth. We are lost in a maze. Mechanically it can loop. The cycle can be arranged by randomly different moves. And much the same way as hands spinning a cube. Dismantle, centrifuge. Separation is simple, but some objects are not so easily reassembled. Lost our souls, seek freedom through each windows. It's bleak, they can't see it like skiing a wind of thick snow. It's darker than the grave when cloud rains and wind blows.